If you are waiting for a green card, holding a work permit, or planning to travel outside the United States in the next few months, what I am about to tell you in the next 15 minutes could completely change your immigration timeline, and you cannot afford to miss this. January 2026 has brought serious changes to how USCIS is processing cases, how visa appointments are being scheduled, and what documents you absolutely must have before you leave the country. And if you make one wrong move right now, you could be stuck outside the United States for months or even lose your immigration status entirely. Welcome to US Visa Today, the channel where we break down the most critical US immigration news and USCIS updates so you can protect your future in America. I am going to walk you through everything that just changed, who is affected, what the government is not telling you clearly, and exactly what you need to do right now to stay ahead of these developments. I am going to walk you through everything that just changed, who is affected, what the government is not telling you clearly, and exactly what you need to do right now to stay ahead of these developments. Let me be very direct with you, because this is serious. Over the past 2 weeks, USCIS has quietly updated several processing policies. The Department of State has changed how certain visa interview appointments are being scheduled, and there are new travel restrictions that are catching immigrants completely off guard at the border. Most people do not realize this is happening until it is too late, and by then they are stuck in a situation that could have been completely avoided. This is not a rumor, this is not speculation. These are confirmed updates coming directly from official government sources, and I am going to break down each one so you understand exactly how this affects you. Let us start with the biggest issue that is impacting tens of thousands of people right now, and that is the change in how USCIS is handling employment-based green card applications and adjustment of status cases. If you filed your I-485 application for adjustment of status, or if you are planning to file in the next few months, you need to pay very close attention because the processing times have shifted dramatically, and the way USCIS is prioritizing cases has changed. What we are seeing right now is that USCIS is processing certain categories of green card applications much faster than others, but at the same time, cases that were moving smoothly just a few months ago are now experiencing unexpected delays and requests for evidence. This just changed in the last few weeks, and immigration attorneys across the country are reporting that their clients are receiving RFEs, which are requests for evidence, at a much higher rate than before, especially for employment verification, financial documentation, and medical examination forms. If your green card application is pending right now, you need to make absolutely sure that all of your supporting documents are current, that your employment letter is dated within the last 6 months, that your medical exam has not expired, and that your employer is still able to verify your job offer. USCIS is being extremely strict about documentation right now, and if even one document is outdated or missing, they will delay your case or even deny it outright. The problem is that many people assume that once they submit their application, they can just wait for the approval, but that is not how it works anymore. You need to be proactive, you need to check your case status regularly, and you need to respond immediately to any requests from USCIS, because even a small delay in responding can push your case back by several months. Now, let me talk about work permits, because this is affecting thousands of people who rely on their employment authorization document to stay legally employed in the United States. If you have an EAD that is expiring in the next 6 months, or if you recently applied for a renewal, you need to understand that USCIS processing times for EAD renewals are currently unpredictable. Some people are getting their renewed EAD in 60 days, while others are waiting 5 or 6 months, and there is no clear pattern to explain why some cases move quickly and others do not. What makes this even more frustrating is that if your EAD expires before your renewal is approved, you could lose your work authorization, you could lose your job, and you could lose your legal status in the United States depending on your visa category. USCIS does have an automatic extension policy for certain EAD categories, which means that if you filed your renewal before your current EAD expired, you may be eligible for an automatic 180-day extension. But here is the critical part that most people miss. This automatic extension only applies to specific categories, and you must have filed your renewal application on time. If you wait until the last minute, or if you are in a category that does not qualify for the automatic extension, you are going to face a gap in your work authorization, and that gap can have devastating consequences. My advice to you is this: if your EAD is expiring within the next 6 months, file your renewal application right now. Do not wait. Do not assume you have time, because USCIS processing times are completely unpredictable right now, and you do not want to be in a position where you cannot work because your EAD expired. Next, I want to talk about travel, because this is where people are making huge mistakes that are costing them their immigration status and their ability to return to the United States. If you are on a pending green card application, if you have a pending asylum case, or if you are in the United States on certain types of visas, traveling outside the country right now is extremely risky, and you need to understand the consequences before you book that flight. Here is what is happening. USCIS and Customs and Border Protection are being much more strict about who they allow back into the United States, especially if you left the country while your immigration case was pending. If you have a pending I-485 application and you travel outside the United States without advance parole, your green card application will be considered abandoned, which means you will lose everything. All the time, all the money, all the effort you put into that application will be gone, and you will have to start over from scratch if you are even allowed to come back. Advance parole is a travel document that allows you to leave the United States and return while your adjustment of status application is pending. But here is the problem. Advance parole applications are also taking much longer to process than they used to, and some people are waiting 4 to 6 months just to get their advance parole document approved. If you apply for advance parole and you travel before it is approved, that is the same as traveling without it. Your green card application will be abandoned. This is a mistake that we are seeing over and over again. People assume that because they applied for advance parole, they are safe to travel, but that is absolutely not true. You must wait until you have the approved document in your hand before you leave the country. Another issue with travel that is catching people off guard is the visa revalidation process. If you are in the United States on an H-1B visa, an L-1 visa, or another employment-based visa, and your visa stamp in your passport has expired, you will need to get a new visa stamp if you travel outside the United States and want to come back. Normally, people would go to a U.S. consulate in their home country to get that visa stamp renewed. But right now, visa appointment wait times at U.S. consulates around the world are extremely long. In some countries, people are waiting 6 months, 9 months, even a year just to get a visa interview appointment. If you travel outside the United States without checking the visa appointment wait times in the country where you plan to apply, you could be stuck outside the United States for months waiting for an appointment. And during that time, you cannot work, you cannot return to your job, and your employer may not be able to hold your position for you. This is why I keep saying you need to be very careful about travel right now, because the risks are higher than they have been in years, and one mistake can derail your entire immigration process. Now let me talk about visa bulletins and priority dates, because this affects everyone who is waiting for a green card based on employment or family sponsorship. Every month, the Department of State publishes the Visa Bulletin, which shows which priority dates are current for each green card category and each country. Your priority date is essentially your place in line for a green card, and you can only file your adjustment of status application or get your immigrant visa when your priority date becomes current. What we are seeing in January 2026 is that priority dates are moving very slowly for certain countries, especially India and China in the employment-based categories. And in some categories, the dates are even moving backward, which is incredibly frustrating for people who have been waiting for years. If you are from India and you are waiting for an EB2 or EB3 green card, you need to understand that the wait times are extremely long right now. Some people are waiting 10 years or more just to get their green card, and there is no sign that this is going to improve anytime soon. This is a result of the per-country cap, which limits how many green cards can be issued to people from any single country each year. And because there is such high demand from India and China, the wait times for applicants from those countries are much longer than for applicants from other countries. If your priority date is not current yet, there is not much you can do except wait and make sure that your case is ready to move forward as soon as your date becomes current. That means keeping your documents updated, staying in valid immigration status, and being prepared to file your adjustment of status application immediately when your priority date becomes current, because sometimes priority dates move forward and then move backward again. And if you miss your window, you might have to wait months or even years for another chance. Let me also address something that is causing a lot of confusion right now, and that is the issue of public charge and financial requirements for green card applications. The public charge rule determines whether USCIS believes you are likely to become dependent on government benefits, and if they think you might become a public charge, they can deny your green card application. The current public charge rule looks at factors like your income, your assets, your education, your job skills, and whether you have received certain types of government benefits. What people need to understand is that USCIS is paying very close attention to financial documentation right now, and if your income is below the required level, or if you do not have a strong financial sponsor, your green card application could be delayed or denied. If you are applying for a green card based on family sponsorship, your sponsor needs to submit an I-864 affidavit of support, and they need to show that their income is at least 125% of the federal poverty guidelines for their household size. If your sponsor does not meet the income requirement, you may need to find a joint sponsor, or you may need to submit additional evidence of assets that can be used to meet the financial requirement. This is not something you can ignore or hope will work itself out, because USCIS will deny your application if you do not meet the financial requirements, and then you will have to start over. Now I want to talk about what you should do right now to protect yourself and your immigration case. First, check your case status regularly on the USCIS website using your receipt number. And if you see any updates or requests for evidence, respond immediately. Do not wait. Do not assume you have time, because delays in responding can push your case back by months. Second, make sure all of your documents are current, including your employment verification letter, your medical exam, your financial documentation, and any other supporting evidence that was required for your application. Third, if you are planning to travel outside the United States, do not book your flight until you have confirmed that you have the proper travel documents, whether that is advance parole, a valid visa stamp, or another document that will allow you to return. Fourth, if your EAD is expiring soon, file your renewal application right now. Do not wait until the last minute, because processing times are unpredictable and you do not want to risk losing your work authorization. Fifth, Stay informed about changes to immigration policy and USCIS processing by following reliable sources of information, including this channel, because things are changing quickly right now, and you need to know what is happening so you can make informed decisions about your case. I know this is a lot of information, and I know it can feel overwhelming, especially if you are in the middle of an immigration process right now. But I want you to understand that knowledge is power, and the more you know about what is happening with U.S. immigration, the better you can protect yourself and your future in this country. These updates are serious, and they are affecting real people right now. But if you stay informed, if you follow the rules carefully, and if you are proactive about managing your case, you can navigate these challenges successfully. The key is not to panic, but to take action, to make sure your documents are in order, to respond quickly to any requests from USCIS, and to be very careful about travel and other decisions that could impact your immigration status. Remember, you are not alone in this. Thousands of people are going through the same process, facing the same challenges, and dealing with the same uncertainties. But the people who succeed are the ones who stay informed and take control of their cases. I want to end on a note of hope because despite all of these challenges, people are still getting their green cards approved, people are still getting their work permits renewed, and people are still achieving their dream of building a life in the United States. It is possible, but it requires patience, it requires attention to detail, and it requires staying informed about what is happening with U.S. immigration policy and USCIS processing. That is exactly why this channel exists, to give you the most up-to-date and accurate information about U.S. visa news, green card updates, USCIS policy changes, and everything else you need to know to protect your immigration status and move your case forward. If you found this information helpful, and if you want to make sure you never miss an important update about U.S. immigration, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are alerted every time we post a new video with critical immigration news and USCIS updates. Second, leave a comment below and tell me what type of visa or green card you are waiting for, whether it is H-1B, L-1, EB-2, EB-3, family-based green card, asylum, or any other category, because I read every comment and I create content based on what you tell me you need to know. Third, share this video with your family, your friends, your coworkers, or anyone else you know who is going through the U.S. immigration process, because they need this information just as much as you do, and sharing this video helps us reach more people who need accurate and reliable immigration news. Thank you for watching U.S. Visa Today. Thank you for trusting me to bring you this information, and I will see you in the next video with more breaking updates on U.S. immigration, green cards, visas, and everything else you need to know to protect your future in America.